Hi everyone, Mrs. Boyt here, and today we're going to be talking about propaganda. What is propaganda? But more importantly, why does Mrs. Boyt have a pineapple on her countertop? We'll get into that and unpack it right now. First of all, I keep forgetting to tell you guys, please subscribe to the channel over there where it says do not touch. Actually touch that. And if you press the bell, this is a great thing because you can know exactly when my videos drop. I like to hang out with you as soon as they drop so I can answer your questions in real time. So if you know when they drop, you can get on and you could talk to me if you have questions about the video. So propaganda, that's what we're going to talk about today. What is it? Why does that word get thrown around so much? And we're going to dive right into it now. Propaganda, one thing I always do is make my students get a certified definition of a word. So according to the Oxford American Dictionary, propaganda is defined as this: information, especially of a biased or misleading nature, used to promote or publicize a particular political cause or point of view. So propaganda could be used for anything. Now, today I want to talk a little bit first about cause and effect. Cause, what is a cause? It is an event or reason that makes something happen. And what is the effect? It's the result of the cause. Now, oftentimes propaganda is used because of cause and effect. We oftentimes either use propaganda to prod a cause on, to move it along, or we use propaganda because of an effect that happened due to a cause. So that's one of the reasons for propaganda. Also, let's get into fact and opinion. This is where propaganda varies. It can be all the way good, all the way bad. It could be somewhere in the middle. Propaganda could be used for many things. So is propaganda good or bad? It's both. It's both good and bad. Let's define fact. Fact, a statement that can be verified or proven. And what is an opinion? It's a statement that expresses a feeling, an attitude, a value, a judgment, or a belief, but it could be not true for some and true for others. All very important when we're discussing propaganda. Let's talk about types of good propaganda. What is good propaganda? Well, first of all, it encourages positive outcomes, such as peace and health, no smoking. Or remember when Nancy Reagan, a long time ago, she came out with a campaign that was just say no to drugs. And it was an anti-drug campaign for teenagers and adults. And then, of course, we have Paul Revere's propaganda to really get more people involved in the revolutionary cause that led to the Revolutionary War. And that was his picture that he showed and printed and sent out and got out because he was a courier too. Paul Revere was so many things. I'm going to birdwalk a little bit. Remember, he had many jobs. He was a known silversmith in town, but he was also a printer, an artist, a courier. He made that midnight ride. And he was also, I heard, a dentist, like he pulled people's teeth. But he had 5 children, a lot of mouths to feed, so he had to have a lot of jobs. I just birdwalked, but I don't know. It was interesting because Paul Revere actually used a lot of propaganda to get more people to join the cause, to get more of the Tories to join the Whigs, and to move from the British sympathizer side to go to the revolutionary cause and become patriots and Minutemen and a part of the militia. One of the things he did was he drew a picture of the Boston Massacre and he distributed it. And it really moved a lot of people into his direction, saying, wow, that's horrible what the British did. So he used a picture. And propaganda can be a lot of things. I want you to look over here at this board to, I don't know if you can see everything in this shot. It could be a poster, a pamphlet, a flyer, a statue, art. It could be a commercial news, advertising, books, slogans, media, motto. And some of these things are quite repetitive because media is a lot of things. But we know that even media, as in social media, has a lot of propaganda on it. And you have to be able to wade through that, know what is true, what is false, what is good for me, what is bad for me. Let's talk about bad propaganda, though. Bad propaganda encourages negative outcomes. I mean, think about it. Hate groups, war, something that encourages unhealthy behavior. And one of the most significant examples of negative or bad propaganda was what Hitler did during and leading up to World War II, getting us involved in World War II, is spread some really negative propaganda that was destructive, and it caused hate. It developed people to feel things that they really shouldn't have felt. So Hitler was a great example of somebody who used propaganda in a very destructive way. Also, advertisements that encourage anything that can be construed as brainwashing. Brainwashing. What does that mean? That means actually to change the way you think, to change it from one way to a way that's not really healthy. It's where you're not thinking for yourself. You're allowing something or someone else to think for you, to put thoughts into your head. And so that's why it's really important to know who you are, to have integrity, to have honor. Media that is divisive and causes hostility is also negative propaganda. And I can give you a lot of examples of negative propaganda, but I think you know what that is. Anything that riles up in you a feeling of hate, disgust, would be negative propaganda. It's doing things to you you really don't want it to do. Nobody needs to feel those feelings. In fact, we should be very cognizant of why we're angry, what's causing us to be angry, and really understand that that could be propaganda that's causing it. It may not be the truth. Now, we're reading Among the Hidden, and I'm going to, again, in the description, I'm going to link a bunch of supplies or things that I talk about. So always look to this description if you want to know. Among the Hidden is a series, a book series, and we're reading the first book right now, and they have a rally. And in this rally, the shadow children, there's a population law, and these shadow children are trying to say, we want to be recognized as people. And so they decide to have a rally, and they're thinking about what they're going to put on their signs. Now, remember, the First Amendment gives us the right of freedom of speech, the right of freedom of religion, freedom of press, and freedom of assembly. That's very important. So propaganda could be pretty much anything. And you can meet, you can protest, you can get together, you can carry a sign, you can rally. But in this book, this alternate society, they couldn't, because these children weren't even supposed to be living. They were born illegally into the system. One of the things I really want you to consider when looking at propaganda or listening to propaganda is consider your own integrity. If you have great integrity, it means you do the right thing even when nobody's looking. You do the right thing. You have honor. You're worthy of respect or being respected. And if you really work on those skills, then you will actually be able to decipher which propaganda is good for me, which propaganda is bad for me. And you will be better at also staying neutral, being able to look at both sides of an argument. It makes you better a debater. It makes you better at speaking. It makes you better at just life in general. If you can actually look at both sides and understand it, and then you can definitely pick a side, but you have to lead from a place of moral integrity. I want to show you 3 tools that you can pay attention to when you're deciding to create propaganda. And remember, propaganda could be anything from a pamphlet to a book, advertising, commercial, slogan, poster. But when you're doing that, if you want to really affect people, there are these 3 techniques or tools that you can use to include to be effective in your advertisement or your persuasions. First of all, ethos. Appeal to ethos, and that is involving your credibility and ethics. So being ethical, having honor, gaining respect by the way you live. You're credible. People believe you, trust you. Ethos is all about gaining someone's trust. As you know, some places have more trust than others. If I go to Starbucks and get a latte, I know it's going to be good. I trust that it's going to be good. I trust that they have standards that they're going to follow, and the latte's probably going to be about the same every time because I've developed trust over the years of buying coffee at Starbucks. The next is logos, and this is your logical reason. This is getting to somebody from a point of view where you can say to them, look at this data, look at this proof. I'm going to show you proof of the fact that you should believe this way. So whenever we show charts or graphs, that would be logos. Whenever we show any data that's happened, a study that was done, this would be logos. So if you're going to tell someone that they should invest in Starbucks stock, you can actually show them the results of what that stock has done over the years. And I mean, not so much during COVID-19, but you can actually show them what the stock has done over years and how they've bounced back and changed their business profile. And so logical and reasoning skills are all the logic part, the logos part, which is a great propaganda persuasive technique. And the last one is pathos. This is appealing to someone's emotions and feelings. Pathos is all about making somebody feel something. And one of the best examples I can tell you on this one is once of the SPCA showing the shivering dogs in the cages, and you can see where that money is going that they're asking you to pay. Credibility is getting someone to say, I use this product and it works every time. Oftentimes a new company will pay a star, such as Ellen DeGeneres. Spectrum paid her to do their commercials, and everybody's like, yes, if Ellen's doing it, I am too, right? Logos, logical and reasoning. Show me the stats. Tell me why I should buy this product. Tell me why it's better than the other products. Maybe pricing. Maybe the network is better. I don't know. You have to show me something that convinces me. And then again, the pathos, the feelings. Oh my gosh, I use this and it was the best day of my life. I have just given you a lot of techniques and tools, definitions, explanations of propaganda. Now it's up to you to use it the next time you have a project and you're supposed to be persuasive or convincing by making something, a poster or something else, and your teacher asks you to use propaganda. Now you know what to do. Let's say, for example, you are making a poster. If you're using propaganda, you're using power to influence people's decisions, to change their mind about something. There's power in your art. There's power in what you're saying. And so I want you to make sure you use that power wisely, because the alternate result of not using the power wisely will have a negative effect on someone. And you don't know how negative that effect will be to that person. I got through this entire lesson and I forgot to use the pineapple. It was going to be my example of fact and opinion. But I think my opinion is this is a really cool fruit. I love the taste. So I'm going to cut it up right now. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
No, why does it have to end?